Hi guys, welcome to part 1 of making the outside of my house the cutest version of self it can be. Preface, I do rent, and these are all things that I'm doing that were okayed and just elevate the property. So the first thing I'm doing is actually cleaning the door. Didn't record the actual process, but that door was so dirty, and I'm also going to be painting the purple ring that you see. I'm not painting the door. It's never been painted before, and I didn't want to make that decision. So it just needs a good scrub down. As you can see, it's absolutely filthy, and it is just needs a little refresher. So as far as the purple, I'm using this semi-gloss white. It is okay for outside furniture, but it's not an exact match. But when I tell you it's so much better than that purple, I hated seeing that purple. It's just so much more of like a crisp, clean look. And as you can tell, next thing we're going to be working on is the numbers on the house. So I could have gone out and gotten myself some new numbers, but this was free. I had this spray paint laying around already. It is the dark walnut, and it's a gloss. I already had that laying around. All I had to do was pop the nails off of those, just give them a couple coats of spray paint, and then I just popped those right back on. It was so easy, and in a minute, you're really going to be able to tell how much nicer this looks than the rusty, crusty gold. I'm just really looking to make my house just look nicer without investing a lot of money in it, because it is a rental property. We do plan on power washing the house and potentially changing that light. That light was what comes on it. That's for like garage doors. So just to finish off the porch, I do have a rocking chair that I actually painted myself, and I have that little pillow, and my absolute favorite thing in the world is a wind chime. So I did have to put that out there. We did want to add some lights as well. So these are some warm white LEDs. We also got a few for the pathway outside the house. This is them installed. When I took this video that night, I tried to take another one, and they just weren't charged up. But eventually you will see that hopefully in part 2. It is actually so much nicer and so much brighter for the house. So the last thing in this video I'm going to be working on is actually planting some flowers in the beds next to the steps. So I did go with annuals instead of perennials because this is my first time planting flowers, and I'm going to describe some stuff here soon. I did end up going with seeds, so I did grab some new soil. I also grabbed this to fill any patches in our yard that were missing some grass. So my video is going to be probably pretty choppy because this is going to be an overtime situation. But I'm starting the process of one of my goals, which was to finish the house. And then one of those categories was to make the front yard as welcoming and pretty and beautiful as I can make it. And so that being said, I did some tasking. I'm doing some tasking today, and I went ahead and I picked up the seeds for the flowers. I picked up the soil. I picked up some other things like a nozzle for a hose because ours broke, so I can water the plants. And then I am going to go grab lunch, and then I'm going to come back to my house, and I am going to start, and I will video record that. But I'm very excited. I didn't know I was a gardening gal until now, but I'm excited. Okay, so I just wanted to come on here and explain what I'm doing. So one of my goals was to do the garden, and so I am starting slowly with the front of the house. There is a lot to do. This is going to be ignored for now, but we are going to put some cannas in the back. I know we for sure want that, and potentially a bird bath. But we're going to keep this simple because it's such a big patch. But we're going to fill that space up next to the house with something fairly tall. So the project I'm working on today is these gardens. These little pots. So they're not honestly super big, but they're boring. There's room for improvement. And we are going to be planting some flowers in here. I also have my lights that shine up towards the house, because as you can see, like, our light up there is just, that's not it to leave it on. That's not the vibe. So what I'm going to be doing first is raking, trying to remove literally any and all of the leaves that are left. I'm going to be trying to actually rake up the mulch as well, because I'm going to be needing to plant some more soil, some new soil, some fresh soil. So that's where I'm going to start first. And then from there, I'm going to plant the flowers. The process I'm going to be doing is planting from tallest in the back to shortest in the front, which means whenever you buy packs of flowers, they always tell you what the expected height is going to be. So these are going to be my tallest. So these are going to be planted towards the, I'm going to actually probably stick to kind of this corner versus just the wall. I'm going to kind of try and come out here on the corner because there's all this height right here from the steps. And then the next tallest were these bachelor's buttons. And then in front of that, we're going to do the marigold. And then actually with these forget-me-nots, I'm going to put them in the front, but I'm also going to sprinkle some extra seeds kind of around in general as almost like a filler. So that's a plan. I have, I believe, 2 packs per side per flower. These are not that big. These pots are not that big. So I'm hoping I can spread the seeds out enough. And if I need to add some more, I can always add some more. So let me get to work. Okay, so I just raked all of the dry mulch up as much as the leaves as I could get. Do one of these suckers. So it looks so much better. All that mulch. So I'm back to doing a voiceover. So the first thing that I'm doing is actually laying a light layer of soil all throughout the pot. I'm just kind of covering up any of that dry, old stuff. I got rid of most of it, but we're going to go right in with planting. So these are the Chianti hybrid sunflowers. They are the tallest. I don't know if I'll show the back here in a second, but they get really tall. I think it said 3 to 4 feet potentially. So obviously these are going to go in the farthest back part that I can get them. I placed a lot of seeds in the corner, and I have high expectations for these. But again, I just want to also say I am not a gardener. I have never planted flowers. I've had plants that I've kept alive inside, but I put a lot of effort into this today. I did some research, so we will see how it turns out. Alrighty, here is what the seeds look like. These are the only seeds that actually look like seeds to me. I was so surprised. Again, I've never gardened or planted, and I was very shocked at how some of these seeds looked. With these sunflowers specifically, they needed to be spaced about 8 inches apart and an inch into the soil. That's what I'm doing here. I'm actually placing those seeds, pushing them in a little bit, and I will go back over with more soil to add that extra kind of inch. And that's what I'm doing here. So I'm spreading that out. I'm making sure the seeds are covered, and then I'm going to actually pat that down. Make sure it's nice all flat, but it's said on the back it was like a soft firm. So next up, I am doing the bachelor's buttons, a blue boy. Those were the second tallest. I get up to 30 inches. I think they'll be about a little shorter than the sunflowers. This is 1/4 inch of a depth, and I actually think all of the seeds from here on out were a 1/4. So those were really easy. The seeds were really hard to plant individually, so it was a matter of just kind of sprinkling them where I wanted them. And then here I go in with the marigolds, the French double dwarf. Same thing, I believe, 1/4 inch in, and they don't get super tall. So that's up at that next. Look at how fun and weird those look. I know I dropped a couple. But yeah, I'm going to go in. Same thing. I'm just kind of sprinkling them. And I'm almost doing like a U shape from the corner of the steps and wall. And I am integrating them into the patches that have already been planted with other seeds. Going in with my last one. This was a 1/8 inch. So that really just needed to be sprinkled on top. Those were so small. I actually just did that. If you could see that, I genuinely just took the bag open and I started sprinkling those into the front. And again, I started sprinkling those in. I started sprinkling them a little bit farther back because I really thought these would be nice as fillers for that empty space. Also, just so there's not these like lines of where the flowers end and start. Then I'm taking the rest of that soil. I used 1 bag per pot, and I'm spreading that soil out, and I am going to press it down flat lightly. I'm not using a ton of weight, a ton of pressure. It just needs to be super easy. And the last thing I'm going to be doing is watering.
So I have everything planted that I needed planted. Again, I did the daisies along this section. Then I did the purple ones right in front of that. Spread the marigolds out and did the bluebirds? The small ones. Yeah, the bluebirds around here. And then sprinkled some extra in. So I can just kind of like start integrating so it's not just like a line of flowers. Top the soil off. I did it's very windy out today, so of course I did a very light firm press to push everything down. So that's garden 1. So that is done. I just need to water it. And then this is 2. I'm gonna get to work on her, and then I'm gonna water everything, and hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll see some sprouting happening. And yeah, I'm very excited.